today. And that's pretty much one of the major reasons we're doing it in this fashion. So forgive us if it is going to take us about 3 hours, but I can guarantee you, you'll be full. Not only will you be full, you will have practical, implementable, actionable insights you will draw from this that you can almost immediately begin to practice. Okay? So that will be all from me to all of you. So please, let's abide by this. And then please, our admin, kindly remind people, because there are some who will be joining later on. There are people who join late for any meeting. So whether it is physical or online, they join late. So please, let's encourage or engage with those people online by giving them instructions, these same instructions that we have shared. Okay, so I want to begin. So let me, one sec. Okay, so it looks like my hosting right has been taken away. 1 second, please. Okay, so I want to begin tonight with diagnosis. The best way by which you're going to draw immense value from this 3-hour-long session is through these diagnostic sessions that we're going to run through. And please, if you are married, I actually recommend that you and your spouse, be on this call. If that is impractical, if that is not possible, no problem. But if you can, the things we're going to share will tremendously impact the family. Okay, I know the role money plays in every family. I know the role money plays. And I know, I interact with a lot of people all of the time. And of the top 3 issues that people deal with, money all the issues that people deal with in their families, money fall among the top 3. So when money issue is resolved, there will be fewer issues to address. All right, let's run through this financial intelligence test. This was shared with every one of us. The link was shared, and so just in case you did not feel that you didn't complete it, even if you did, I just want to run through it again. And let me tell you upfront, the value you derive from this program will be dependent to a very large extent on your sincerity, your honesty in answering these questions. All right? I say to people all the time, deception is bad enough, but self-deception is worse. Anybody can deceive anybody, but don't deceive yourself. So please answer this as honestly as you can. That's my recommendation. So let's run through this financial intelligence test. Like I said, everything else I'm going to be sharing will not matter much if you do not complete this particular test. And that's why I want to run through it. And so it's diagnostic, and in a way, I'm going to be chipping in a few thoughts. The first question here is, do you know your present financial condition or net worth? Do you know your present financial condition or net worth? Yes, no, I don't know. Just that's all you need to do. No, yes, I don't know. That's all you need to do. So if you don't know, fantastic. If you know, fantastic. If you don't know at all, just put it there. Are you satisfied with your present financial condition? Are you satisfied with your present financial condition? Yes, no, I don't know. Number 3, are you aware of simple ways to increase your net worth? Are you aware of simple ways to increase your net worth? Yes, no, I don't know. Number 4, do you have enough savings to see you through 6 months or normal living expenses if you lose your job? If you lose your source of active income today, Do you have enough savings that will see you through 6 months of normal living expenses? Yes, no, I don't know. Yes, no, I don't know. Just feel it. Just tick what applies. Be honest with yourself. Every time I conduct, and by the way, you will never outgrow the need for this particular test. So the more successful you even get in managing your finance, the more you would require to conduct this. So I recommend that you do this maybe twice or thrice a year, all right? Just to check, to monitor and track your progress. Like I said, you don't go to the hospital when you are sick. You go to the hospital, you go for diagnosis most of the time, medical checkup, so that you don't fall ill, so that things don't aggravate, things don't get worse. So this is something that you do periodically. So it's a way to check whether you are truly financially fit. Okay. Number 5, do you save money on a regular basis? Do you save money on a regular basis? Oh, the money is not enough. Money has never been enough. It will never be. Money is called currency because it is current. It is designed to flow. It's never designed to be static. And it flows from the hands of fools to the hands of the wise. So if you don't save on $10,000, forget it. You will never save on $1 million. Okay? Savings is critical. But do you save money on a regular basis or not? Yes, no, I don't know. Just take what applies to you. Have you formed the habit of savings? Have you formed the habit of savings? One thing I know about savings is the fact that it's not really about the money you set aside necessarily alone. It's about the discipline to postpone gratification. It's about the discipline to delay gratification. It's about knowing fully well that you can afford certain things in your life, but you still end up not going for it. That's pretty much one beautiful thing about saving. So, but have you formed that habit of every time money comes, the first set of things you sort out is your savings? After you have, I say to people, a part of what you earn is yours to give, and a part of what you earn is yours to keep. All right? Some practice a part of what they earn is theirs to give. Some who are Christians will give their tithes and all of those, and they are very committed to that, and they form their habit, and it's no longer a problem for them. But they don't fulfill the other part. A part of what they earn is theirs to keep. And there are others who fulfill a part of what they earn is theirs to keep, but they don't fulfill the other part of theirs to give. So you need to combine both. Okay? Have you formed the habits of savings? Yes, no, I don't know. Please, like I said before, be honest with yourself. Number 7, do you have a well-defined and documented financial goal? Do you have a well-defined and documented financial goal? If you don't, just answer your question by yourself. Okay? Number 8, do you have a bank account? As ridiculous as that may sound, only 40 million Nigerians, for example, have bank accounts. Only 40 million, and that's according to statistics. Only 40 million Nigerians have bank accounts. Now, what does that communicate? It means that the other 160 million thereabouts don't have bank accounts. Okay? And I think it should have improved now, because this statistics is as at, I think, 2 years ago. Okay? It should have improved because there's been a lot of financial inclusion through the penetration of fintechs and all of that. So I think it should have improved. But the reality is not many people have bank accounts. And I don't know how you can, there's an amount of money you can't hold in your pockets. There's an amount of money you can't carry. So you're already placing a limit on how much you really want to attract into your life if you don't have a bank account. So do you have bank accounts? So be honest with yourself. No, yes, I don't know. I remembered years ago, I was heading the branch of one investment banking firm I worked. And I recall that when we moved into that particular city, the landlord told us, the landlord we're leasing the property from, said to us that, no, he doesn't keep his money in the bank. He carries the money in his house. He keeps it. I'm talking millions of naira at the time. So you can understand when I'm asking this question. So I've seen people who have so much money. There's another distant role model of mine who said his first 1 million or 1.8 million that he made, that he was afraid that if he deposited it in bank, they will not return it to him. So you have no idea what people are dealing with in their minds. Okay, so do you have a bank account? Number 9, do you reconcile your bank statement every month? I say to people all of the time, your banker or bank statements is the best bookkeeper. Your bank or your banker is your best bookkeeper in the world. You can refer to 5 years ago, 10 years ago transactions. So the best way to keep your books, to keep records, is actually to make sure that transactions flow into that account and flow out of that account. So there's proper description. And so every month when you need to reconcile, it's easy to go. Most people who have direct relationship with me know that before cashless policy in Nigeria, I was cashless. It helped me a lot in managing resources and a lot of things. All right. Number 10, do you keep record of your income and expenditure? Do you keep record of your income and expenditure? What is bringing in money? What is taking money away from you? Now, the reason this is so critical, if you don't, because you see, I'm saying this because I'm certainly not going to be able to touch on all the things that we're saying here, but answer the question honestly. Yes, no, I don't know. The reality is this: if you don't know what is bringing the most money into your life because you don't have records, and you don't know what is taking the most money in your life, how do you make adjustments? How do you make necessary adjustments? So if you have 5 different things you do that bring in money, but only 2 give you the biggest income, wisdom demands that you just focus more energy on what is producing. But if you don't have record of what is producing the most, then it means you continue to disperse energy in multiple directions, right? And again, if you don't know what is taking money the most from you, you will continue to embrace frenemies, permit me for lack of a better word. You continue to embrace devourers, so to speak. You know, Africa is quite a communal environment where everybody talks to one uncle, auntie, sister, brother, sister, the cousin of the brother to the father's auntie, and the great-grandfather to the, you know, everybody look for a way to just connect themselves, and all in the bid to collect and these are the things that take money away from you. So are you surrounded? So it is when you keep records this way that you are able to decipher what you should change, what adjustments you need to make in your income, and of course, with your expenditure. Number 11, do you know how much you spend each month? Of course, if you keep records of your income and expenditure, you will have an idea, you have a sense of how much you spend each month. Yes, no, I don't know. Number 12, do you spend less than you earn? Do you spend less than you earn? I had a friend many years ago who told me, I mean, I'm talking almost 20 years ago now. And this lady said to me that her salary was 22,000 naira, but that there's no month she doesn't spend more than 50,000 naira at that time. And if you are spending more than you earn and you feel it's progress and it is miracle, you probably are running into crisis without realizing it. Okay, so do you spend less than you earn? A wise man once said that if your expenditure is more than your income, then your upkeep will be your downfall. If your expenditure is more than your income, then your upkeep will be your downfall. So yes, no, I don't know. Answer that question. Number 13, do you have a household budget and are you successful at managing it? Do you have a household budget and are you successful at managing it? Budget is simply a money-making plan and a money-spending plan. A budget is not just an expenditure, a list of expenses. No, that's not budget. Budget will review the sources of that income, and then it will also look at where to deploy it or what is going to take the money. Every time I have obligations, I always ask myself, what will fund it? And that's exactly what a budget does for you. And are you committed? Are you dedicated? Are you disciplined, at sticking with your budget? Okay. Do you avoid major credit purchase? Particularly if you live in diaspora, there are so many credit offers, credit deals that they extend to you. So if you live in a credit-based system or economy, well, you are very, 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 you are more predisposed to entering this trap, right? So, and most of those things will enable you to buy things that you cannot afford to impress people that don't like you or you don't like. So, and it always keeps you in a cycle of debt and trouble. So do you avoid major credit purchase? There's nothing wrong in leveraging loans to acquire asset that is fetching you money that will pay back the loan. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a leverage. But when you use loan to finance liabilities, it's a recipe for bondage. A recipe for bondage. Number 15, do you take advantage of all savings and investment opportunities that come your way? Do you take advantage of all savings and investment opportunities that come your way? Yes, no, I don't know. Do you take advantage of all savings and investment opportunities that come your way? The day an opportunity presents itself and you have the means to take advantage of it and don't do so, you have just lost an opportunity. If an opportunity shows up and you do not have the means, there's no problem. But if you have the means and you have a way to assess and nest that opportunity and you don't, you have just lost an opportunity. Okay? So do you take advantage of all savings and investment opportunity? I remember a mentor of mine who shared this story of how that when the Lekki axis, Lekki in particular, was evolving from the old Morocco into the Lekki that we know today. He said he heard that some plots of land were selling for 150,000 naira. And being an author himself, he found himself at the press, and he was just, telling people that a plot of land is being sold for 150,000 naira, and he just said it in passing. So apparently, he made that announcement, and a few people heard him and took advantage of it. He didn't know that anybody paid attention to what he said until about 8 months down the line. Somebody saw him, at the gas station, at the fuel station, and ran toward him and said, sir, I was at that press when you were telling us that some plots of land were selling for 150,000. He said, I made the call. I contacted the people you mentioned, and guess what? He said he bought 6 plots. The guy said he bought 6 plots, and that he has sold 3 out of those plots. He's now developing one of those plots now from the proceed he gathered from the other one. And that he's so excited that he now looked at my mentor and said to him, he said, I know you must have plenty land. You must have plenty. That day, my mentor said, it felt like a signpost showing people the way to the wealthy place whenever going there. He said that day he made up his mind. He said, anytime, any day, when an opportunity presents itself and he has the means, he will never allow it to slip away ever again. He said, the guy gave him a check, but he imagined what opportunity he has missed. So do you take advantage of all savings and investment opportunities that come your way? I know you may have done 1 or 2 investments here and there that have gone bad. There's hardly anyone who has created any measure of wealth on planet Earth today who hasn't lost money. But you see, you don't reduce your investment scheme, you increase your due diligence. You don't reduce your investment appetite, you increase your investigation. So you investigate before you invest. That's pretty much what is important. All right. Number 16. I hope I'm sticking to time here. Number 16. Do you have any investment that helps you reduce your taxable income? Do you have any investment that helps you reduce your taxable income? Yes, no, I don't know. 17. Do you diversify your investments? Do you diversify your investments? Do you diversify your investments? Yes, no, I don't know. 18. Are you satisfied with the contribution from your investment to your total income? if you lose your job today, if what is your greatest source of income right now stops flowing, do you have any income from your current investment and asset that can replace that income? So what I mean by that is, if for any reason you are earning, say, $10,000 a month, and you lose your job today, do you have assets or investment that can be putting $10,000 back in your account? If not, just answer the question by yourself. Okay? 19, do you feel you have a brilliant financial advisor or team of advisors? One of the things that most Africans lack is we have ego problem. We love to say, yes, I'm in charge, when you're in charge of nothing. So listen to me carefully. I don't care your level of intelligence, but we all need accountability partners. We all need. I don't care the degree of your level of discipline. You need accountability partner. You need people that, see, I was listening to Vusi Tembewayo, the South African motivational speaker. And the guy said that his financial mentor is not richer than he is. He said, but she is richer in wisdom than he is. He said he was contemplating of buying what's it called now, a private jet, and then he sought the counsel of his mentor, and his mentor said to him that, sorry, what do you really want to achieve within a private jet that you have not already achieved without it? So that wisdom set him free completely. Because he was already pricing, was already going for jet shows, and then they were already pitching different offers to him, and he was already contemplating buying one. All right. So you need a team of advisors. You need, do you have one that you can say, okay, I have this 1 million naira, or I have this 10 million naira. What can I do? Where do I go? Where do I turn? We all need accountability partners. Sometimes we only have the recourse to people to advise us when we are already down to nothing. When the money we have made, we have lost it. That's when we start looking for people to come and advise us. So, do you feel you have a brilliant financial advisor or team of advisors? 20, do you feel you have enough life insurance coverage? And I cannot overemphasize this, especially if you are just starting out in your journey to financial freedom. You need life insurance. It's a must, particularly if you have a lot of dependents. You have people who count on you for their sustenance. You have little children, you have aged parents, you have dependents. Once you have dependents that depend on you generating income, then you need life insurance. And now let me tell you this, for those of you who have some religious beliefs, let me tell you this. Life insurance is not for you. It's not that you are going to die. It's because the people you love and care about are going to live. So most time when people hear life insurance, like, I'm not dying now. Nobody's saying you're going to die. So life insurance is not because you are going to die. It's because the people you genuinely care about are going to live. And if you are going to spend the next 30 years, 40 years in service, right? And you are going to spend that considerable amount of time to build up capital or, to plan for your retirement, God forbid, if anything happens before you have the opportunity to have accumulated as much assets that can produce enough revenue to take care of your dependents, if anything goes wrong with you, what your family loses is not just biological content, which is why people cry most of the time. But the deeper reason people cry when they lose a loved one or lose a breadwinner or something is mainly because the potential income that the person could have been earning if he were to be alive is completely lost. That's the major reason. And there's a cheaper dimension of life insurance that every family requires. So life insurance is pretty much, in my opinion, for breadwinners. So the man or woman who is producing income. So if you are not making income, you really don't need. So, and there's a term life policy. You get that in my book. I did, and the whole chapter was dedicated to that. in my book. So wherever you live anywhere in the world, there's term life policy, the cheaper version, and it makes life insurance affordable and helps you to get sufficient coverage. So do you feel you have enough? So some people don't even have at all. So just type no there. All right, just tick no. All right. Do you have a plan for your children's college and university education? I had a client one time, when I was in investment bank, and the man said to me, he has 2 children at the time I met him. And he said each of them already bought a house in the US, and that the goal of those houses is to finance their college education. So he bought those houses to generate rent. Those rental income is saving it up for their education in college. Now, you may not have that financial minds. Of course, he gave birth late, he got married late and all of that. So he had built enough cash reserve before he even got married. But if you are still starting out in your journey, you want to specifically draw up a plan. So if you don't have one, just type no. If you have, type yes. If you don't even, you are clueless as to what it is, just type I don't know. Next, do you own a house? Do you own a house? I'm talking of the ones you have already paid for. I'm not talking of that you are still paying next 25 years or next 30 years. Now, while there's nothing wrong with that, because even if you were living in a rented apartment, you would be paying rent anyway, right? So if you are paying mortgages towards the entire ownership of that house. So do you own a house? Yes, no, I don't know. I don't think that one requires I don't know. You should know if you don't have a house. All right. Do you have plans to retire in comfort? Do you have plans to retire in comfort? I've interacted with a lot of retirees, and I've interacted with a lot. My over 20-year working career, I've interacted with well over, hundreds of them. And I see something in each and every one of them. Once it is 2 years, 3 years, 5 years to retirement, the reality dawns on them in a fresh light that sometimes appear very scary. Scary on 2 levels. One, they are not sure of what they will be doing when they retire. So that is one of the biggest concerns most would-be retirees have when the reality dawns on them. Number 2 is that a good chunk hardly have any asset investments that they can even fall back to as a means of livelihood. All right. So these 2 major reasons is one of the things that stirs up fear. Now, when I interact with younger people who are just starting out life, and I'm talking to them about retirement, and you hear things like, no, I'm not old yet. Retirement is not for old people. You actually don't need to grow old before you retire. Okay. So do you have plans to retire in comfort? And we'll touch on that briefly today. Finally, the final leg, have you prepared your will? Have you prepared your will? Have you prepared your will? Yes, no, I don't know. A lot of times, particularly Africans, when you hear will, life insurance, you don't want to have those kind of conversations. It's God forbid, you say God forbid, we don't like having that conversation. Anywhere I meet Africans in the world, anywhere, they fear all this language of will and all of that. But you must recognize that this is why you are alive, you can administer the distribution of your wealth. Okay? And so who needs to write a will? Once you have something to share, you need a will. So yes, no, I don't know. So just, if you don't have, write it there. Tick what applies to you. Number 25, are you in control of your financial future? Are you in control of your financial future, or someone else is controlling it for you? You cannot abdicate the responsibility of your financial future to any system, any organization, but to yourself. It is your responsibility at the end of the day. Okay? Are you in control? If you are not, be honest with yourself. Number 26, are you satisfied? Are you satisfied with the contribution you have made in the world? Are you satisfied with the contributions you have made in the world? Have you lived your life all for me, myself, and I? That is not your source of fulfillment. Your greatest source of fulfillment is really in the impact you make in other people's lives. It has been said again and again that when people are on their deathbed, in their last moments on planet. The things that really matter to them at those points in time is not how many cars they've acquired. It's not even their certificates and the awards they've won. It's not in the houses they've built and houses they've accumulated. It is about the lives of people that they have touched. It's about, and the lives of people that they have touched will matter on that deathbed. It will matter on that deathbed. Okay? It will matter on that deathbed. Now, answer the question, yes, no, I don't know. Now, you don't need money to make a difference. You don't need too much money to make an impact. So, but are you satisfied based on your assessment, based on your lifetime so far? Are you satisfied with the contributions you have made into your world? Now, this is a score guide. If no or I don't know is 0 to 4, and be honest with yourself. If 0 to 4, if you count everything you have now and you see 0 to 4, and you see, you see no, I don't know 4 times or less, then you are in good shape. You are financially in good shape. You are financially fit, and you need to keep it up. Now, if your no or I don't know is 5 to 10, then you are on the right track, but you need improvement. So if by the time you score yourself, you will rank yourself, you do all of those things, you see that, okay, the no and I don't know is between 5 and 10, you are not doing badly, but you need to improve. I don't want to ask us here on this call if any of us fall into the first two. From my experience and from my interaction, people who fill this form honestly, only very few people fall into the first two from my experience. And you can attest to that even as you are listening to this. As I was asking those questions, you were marking yourself, no, I don't know, no, I don't know. You already know your predicament. Now, if you fall into that category of 11 and 12 or 11 and above, you are the one that this program is meant for. Are you getting what I'm talking about? And that's why I said the only way you will derive value from this particular program that I'm having with you is if you fill this form, you fill this thing honestly. Okay? So if you have 11 to 12 no or I don't know, then you have weak pulse and you need a reviver. All right? You need a reviver. You have a weak pulse. You will be in an emergency ward, right, of financial hospital, right, if that is your case. Now, if your case is 13 no and I don't know and above, once it's 13 and above for I don't know, you are going to be in ICU. ICU, intensive care units. That one, we need the life machine, we need oxygen, we need ventilator, we need a lot of things. Now, I'm not saying this to mock anyone, and please mind you, the goal is not to mock, but it's just to, sometimes it's good that we laugh about some of these things and know how serious the matter is. All right? So that's where we'll end that. Let me move on to today. So now we begin session 1. And how many of you derived value from that examination we just did? Can you just type 5 if you derive value from it? Or type 26. Type 26, please. Type 26 if you derive value from. All right, good. Yeah, good. So, be honest with yourself. Just know where you are so that now you know that now you need a doctor. You need a doctor to administer and give you prescriptions and tell you exactly what to do. I remembered the first edition of Financial Freedom Masterclass I hosted at Sheraton Hotels and Towers in Lagos. I remember this was January 2020. It was, and nothing gives me my greatest fulfillment other than see the impact of what I do in the lives of people. People have read my book, attended my programs, and I hear things that are humbling. Now, other people invested in me as well. I also attended other courses, other programs of other people, other great people. And I've also been a beneficiary of other people's impact. And so I've chosen, and the rest of my life I'm going to donate also back. And that's part of the reason why I do what I do. And so my greatest motivation is not just money. My greatest motivation is impact and transformation. And that's why I commit to this. I've had 2-hour training session today on people I've not even met physically before. I have a series of speaking engagement now and again and all of those things. So it is a life commitment, a lifelong commitment. And I need your cooperation, right, for us to be able to journey together to where we all need to be. And in that particular, I ran them through this financial intelligence test, and I was just hearing scream. It was like, hey, ooh, ah. It was like hopeless situation. And interestingly, after that particular program, I provided, free one-on-one free coaching, and quite a number of them engaged me. And interestingly, a couple were present in that particular, I think I had 2 or 3 couples who were in that particular edition. But this particular couple came to see me, and in the course of that session, one of the husband just broke into tears. He said he's tired. He said he's just laboring. The thing is not adding up. Like he's paying everybody, nothing is flowing to him. He's just he's a businessman, but he was frustrated, he was tired. And I could relate because I'm also a businessman myself. I know what it means when you end up at the month and you pay people and there's not much left. And then you have to drink garri and nobody cares. Everybody believes that the owner of the business is always fine. All right. The guy busted into tears. In fact, the wife had to bring out handkerchief and give it to him it was very humbling. But do you believe that within 6 months of providing guidance to this same couple, I know these people I'm talking to you about, their transformation is still a wonder to me today. It's still a surprise. So I'm not coming here to come and tell you tales by moonlight or give you things that don't work. This couple I'm talking to you about now have houses, they have investment, they have property, they have different things that's producing income for them. To the point where wife that had a job that was high-paying job could say, sorry, I don't do the job again. I want to resign. Because it's like, let me go and join my husband. Let us go and do this thing. Why? There's more prospects in that direction. So I wanted to take this series that we're going to have together, the time we're going to spend together, make it worthwhile. I'll do the very best. I've already committed myself to this. Anybody who knows me, I can do this training for the next 10 hours and I will not be tired. It's my assignment. But I'm not going to take you longer than that. So we've already done about 45 minutes. And so we have barely 2 hours, 15 minutes to do 3 sessions. So I'll do the best I can to see what more I can deliver within the time we have. So let's start with the triangle of life. Now, the model for these 3 sessions that we're going to have is built on this triangle. And this is the framework for this particular training session. If you've bought my book before, Financial Freedom Master Guide, you'll see this. This is actually the framework for that book. So the book is divided into 3 parts: be, do, and achieve. There's who you must become. So if financial freedom is your goal, there's a version of you that you must become. There's an updated version of you. There's a superior version of you must become in order for you to achieve financial freedom, right? And then there are exact same things. There's exact things you must do day to day. You must have some routine activities that you set in motion that will facilitate the realization of your financial freedom as well. And of course, if you become and you do, achievements just at your beck and call. So when we talk about being and be, we're talking about your mindset. There has to be a shift in the way you think. There has to be a shift in your belief system. There has to be a shift in your value system. This is so critical. These are the key drivers, right, to your achievement. And that's pretty much what I'm going to look at in session 1. Session 2, I'll just pick one element in session 2 that will address the issue of doing, the behaviors, the habits, the actions you need to take. And then we'll look at the other one later on. But before I proceed, let me show you something that's also very important. It's about the journey to financial freedom. Now, in your journey to financial freedom, there are 5 levels. There are 5 levels. And all over the world, everyone you will meet fall into any of these levels, including those of you on this call. Now, follow me carefully. The higher you rise in this journey, the fewer the people there. And it speaks volume. By the way, can you all still hear me? If you can hear me, please type 1, just to be sure that everyone can hear me. If you can hear me loud and clear, please type 1. Let's type 1. Okay. Type 1. Okay. 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 So 12 people have responded, meaning that only 12 people are on this call, even though we have far more than that. Okay. Now, let's run through these levels. Now, understanding this level and exactly what you should be doing if you find yourself in any of this level is what this program is about. The first level, I'm taking them from bottom up, is financial crisis. It's financial crisis. For people who find themselves in this, there are two categories of people in this level. One are those who don't make money, but they have to spend money. I hope you know all of us are gifted spenders. All of us are talented spenders. We don't need training. We don't need schooling to spend. We are all talented. We are all gifted spenders. But we are not all gifted money makers. And that's what creates this crisis. Because if you spend money without making money, there's no other way, there's no other place you will be other than crisis. All right? So people who don't make money but spend money certainly will be in financial crisis. Right? And then there are other categories of people. This other category of people are those who have even succeeded at building up massive fixed asset portfolio of fixed assets, but massive portfolio of fixed asset, who, for one reason or another, the asset is not generating cash flow, no cash flow at all, or low cash flow. No cash flow or low cash flow. No, N-O, or low, L-O-W. So when you have massive, you can have assets worth billions of naira or millions of dollars. But as long as that asset is not producing cash flow, no cash flow or low cash flow, it will create some degree of financial crisis for you. And this is what forces people sometimes to sell off very valuable assets at ridiculous amounts. So you hear of distress sales and stuff like that. It is because they don't have steady cash flow, or they don't have no cash flow at all, or they don't have cash flow at all. All right? That's level 1 from bottom up. Level 2 from bottom up is financial instability. Now, this category of people even make money, but their take home don't take them home. Their take home does not take them home. And if you are in that category where what is your inflow is not even able to cover your transport, cover your basic necessities and needs, then you're financially unstable. A report showed that 75% of Nigerians earn less than 100,000 naira a month. Now, a chunk of these people also have children. A chunk of these people also have family. They have responsibilities, and they earn less than 100,000 naira. While that is sad to know, nobody is going to change that story for them, except they take personal responsibility. And that's what this program is about. So financial instability is not a place you really want to be. And there are loads of people who fall into this category. The third level is financial stability. It's financial stability. Financial stability is that point where you maintain this degree of financial equilibrium, where your income is to a very large extent able to cover your major bills and cover some, and you are even able to live some degree of comfort. You can, go on family vacation annually or twice a year. Your children can attend good schools. You live in choice neighborhoods, and you drive the best of cars. And everybody thinks you have all the paraphernalia of somebody who is doing well. And that's the danger of people in this category. The danger, however, is that these people look rich, but they are not necessarily rich. The danger again is that their lifestyle is premised on their active source of income. In other words, if should anything tamper with their active source of income, they will be back to financial instability or financial crisis. And that's why it's a very tricky place to be. It's a very, very tricky place you don't want to find yourself. The next level is financial independence. And as someone who has been in the wealth industry, wealth market for years, for decades now, I can tell you for free, I often confuse financial independence for financial freedom. But you understand the difference shortly. Financial independence is, while it's a good place anybody should dream to be, and very few people are actually there, it's not the ultimate. Financial independence is that point in your life where the proceeds from your assets and investments can meet, your personal and family needs without you working another day. Where the proceeds from your assets and investments can meet your personal and family needs without you working another day. So at this point, you are not going to be working for necessity. You see, the goal of this program is actually to move you from having to work for necessity to working for fun. So by the time you are financially independent, you are no longer working for necessity. You are just working for fun. And it's a very good place to be. Okay? And I'm going to do something shortly before I dive deeply into this program. The highest level, which is the peak of this program, is financial freedom. Financial freedom is that point in your life where the proceeds from your assets and investment is not only able to meet your personal and family needs, but also able to extend goodness and kindness to others. Now, this is your truest and greatest source of fulfillment. It is when you are at this point in time that you are living life to the fullest. This is where you derive your greatest fulfillment. Your fulfillment is not in just what you have amassed. It's in the impact and the difference you are making in other people's lives. And this is so important. This is so important, so important. So important. Okay? Now, if you are anywhere from 3 to 5, then you certainly need this. You need this program. You need mentorship. You need coaching. You need every instruction I'm going to be passing across in the course of this program. You need it. Okay. Now, in making the move to financial freedom, there are 3 phases you must pass. There are 3 phases you must master in order to really achieve financial freedom. Number 1 is personal transformation. And I'm going to touch on that briefly. Number 1 is personal transformation. In life, you don't attract what you want. You attract who you are. Personal transformation. Number 2 is income generation, planning and application. Number 1, personal transformation. Please note these things. They are very important. If you want to make your way to financial freedom, these 3 are very important. You must master these 3. Number 1 is personal transformation. Number 2 is income generation, planning, and application. Income generation, planning, and application is all together. That's number 2. Number 3 is asset accumulation, optimization, and retention. Asset accumulation, optimization, and retention. So the first part is focusing on you because you are the most important critical success factor. I did a video on that on my YouTube channel. You can check my YouTube channel at Oladipupo Clement. Just Oladipupo Clement on YouTube. And you'll be very, very you will see a few things, all right? You see a few things that will be of great value to you, okay? So that is that. Now, this your personal transformation is what I want to focus on right now. And the reason this is so important and so crucial is because I need you to, every one of us are energy beings, and I'm going to get into that. Hopefully, I'm going to touch on that shortly. So let's move so that I can run along. So let's look at becoming a money magnet. That's what I want to look at today. Let's look at it in first session here. Becoming a money magnet. Now, who you become determines what you attract. And becoming a money magnet is first an internal gain before it goes external. I've seen it again and again. We are all energy beings. And we transmit energy. And the energy we transmit, if it is positive, will determine what we attract. It will also determine what we repel. If it is negative, it also determines what we attract. It also determines what we repel. So if you can control and regulate the energy you are transmitting, you can literally influence everything else that comes into your life. So you are either repelling money or you are attracting money. So what I want to share with you are exact same things I do that helps to attract money. Are you interested in that? If you are interested, just type 5. If you are interested, just type 5, just to be sure that you are truly interested. Good. So the kind of energy you transmit will determine the kind of things you attract or repel. And there's a way you can build up yourself to a point where you become an attraction for money. And that's what I'm going to be showing you in this particular session. So let's take them one after the other. But before I do that, let me quickly make a very important statement up front. After going through the financial intelligence test, we've reviewed the journey to financial freedom. It is obvious that everybody should want to make that journey and want to embark on that journey. I want to make a declaration here. If your objective, after you have done that financial intelligence test and we have concluded the journey to financial freedom, we've seen the layers, the levels in that journey, and you are still not motivated or excited about making a fortune, then this class is really not for you. Everything will just be a complete waste of your time. Now, it won't be a waste of my time because I know there are people on this call who are dedicated, and I don't want to assume that everybody believes in the same thing. Now, you have to be fully committed to what I'm going to be telling you. Now, if you are of the opinion that, oh, forget it, that's why I hear now all these international, all these American books that they just come and Google something and regurgitate. I know what I'm talking to you like I know my name. I know what I'm talking to you about. I'm not telling you things that don't work. We have not only experienced the heart, we have also experienced, we know the science behind it. And that's exactly what I want to share with you. Okay? Now, if you must be rich, there is just one thing that you must get right. Make sure that you are being paid more than you are paying others. Ensure that you have a system, you have a structure that ensures that you are being paid more than you are paying others. Now, a lot of us have multiple streams of expenses, and it is normal for a lot of us, but we don't have multiple streams of income. You have to reverse that tide. You have to reverse it. There's no way you can find and you can make your way to financial freedom if you are paying other people more than you are being paid. All right? And this is why this particular session is very, very important. Very, very important. And the speed at which money flows to you also must be faster than the speed at which money leaves you. So you must ensure that you are being paid more than you are paying others. So everything, all your bag and shoe to match, everything that you do, you buy, you pay for everything. What are people paying for that you also have there in the market? Very, very important. You must be paid more than you are paying others if you really want to be rich. And the speed at which you are doing that must be faster than the speed at which money leaves you if you truly want to be wealthy. So let's take them one after the other. What are those steps you must take to become a money magnet? What are those steps you need to take to attract a lot of cash? Number one, practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. Whatever you appreciate, appreciates in value. Whatever you appreciate, appreciates in value. Nothing, and I say nothing reconditions your heart positively like gratitude. And nothing drains your positive energy like ingratitude. So gratitude, no matter how low you are in life, no matter how unfavorable your circumstance is, there's still something worth celebrating for. There's still something in your life worth celebrating. The truth is, someone said that, he said, he was complaining that he had no shoes until he saw a man who had no legs. So there is always something to be grateful for. And one of the things that will force you to be thankful and grateful is having to consciously develop a gratitude journal. Gratitude journal. I had a reason, I had a cause to visit a family friend, in the hospital just yesterday with my wife. And what I saw was really, it wasn't even of course, I'm grateful for our family member who is now getting better and recovering, but the face and the things I saw there made me to be more grateful to God for life. You don't need to visit the ICU. You don't need to visit the ICU to know what it looks like. I'm telling you, you don't need to visit the emergency ward. Things are happening on a day-to-day basis that you have no clue about. Gratitude, practice gratitude. You wake up, thank you, Lord, and thank your spouse. Thank the people around you. Have you noticed? It's until we lose what we have before we start to appreciate it. You don't have to lose it before you appreciate it. Most times we celebrate the dead, we eulogize the dead, but when they are alive, we tell them they are good for nothing. We hardly tell them thank you. And these things not only suffocate them, deprive them, one of the greatest needs of mankind is the need for acceptance. Everybody needs appreciation. And the Most High, the one who created you and I, also need appreciation. Do you know what it costs for you to have a life machine, or what they call it now, and then oxygen to be supplied, and you get it in abundance without aid? You defecate without assistance, without aid. There are people who are perpetually on dialysis. Listen to me carefully. Apart from the fact that that's the only way they can ensure that they pass out toxins from their body, it is also very, very painful. But you do that without pain, without aid, without assistance, and your own problem is that you've not hammered. Listen, practice gratitude. When you begin to practice these things and you begin to show gratitude for what you already have, and even show gratitude for the things you are expecting as though they are already here, the energy that you are generating is unprecedented. This is what turns you into a money magnet. You practice this, just test it. Just test it. So practice gratitude. Have a gratitude journal. Write down 5 things you are grateful for. That is one way by which you can consciously intentionally, deliberately practice gratitude. Number 2, think abundance. Think abundance. Listen to me, everyone. It is impossible to attract abundance with scarcity mentality. It is impossible to attract abundance with scarcity mentality. This is so important. Envision the money you want to own or you want to have in your bank account. Imagine, as human beings, we think in big pictures. We think in images. When the thought of somebody comes to our mind, it's not the spelling of that person. When the thought of the car comes to your mind, it's not the spelling of that car. It is the image of that car that comes to our mind. So we think in pictures. Now, one of the languages of our subconscious mind is imagination and emotion. The image that you form in your mind and the emotion that is associated with that image is the language of our emotions. Unfortunately, a lot of us express it more in the negative. That is why our subconscious mind also produces that outcome for us. Now, let me say this quickly. This particular lecture is beyond the scope of teaching on subconscious mind. But let me tell you upfront, your most intelligent self is not your conscious mind. Your most intelligent self is your subconscious mind. And it is responsible for all actions, all decisions you've taken in your life. It's responsible for all actions, is responsible for all decisions you have taken in your life. And where you are today is a sum total of all decisions you have taken in the past. And where you will be in the next 5 years also will be a result of the decisions you are taking right now. But let me tell you something, your decisions cannot be better than the quality of your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind, the language. Now listen, your subconscious mind is what regulates your body organs. According to sciences, your body generates more energy, more physical, there's more metabolism while you are asleep than when you are even awake. Because while you are asleep, your subconscious mind is actually awake, regulating the body, keeping everything warm. That is what is powering immunity in your system. That's what keeps you awake. So if you see your subconscious mind, how many of you know the Google search engine? Your subconscious mind is actually the Google of your life. And it has answers, depth of answers to any issue whatsoever that you may be that may be confronting you right now. But a lot of us don't tap into the in-depth resource of our subconscious mind. Now, thinking abundance is the science that helps you to reprogram your mind, because for a long time, you have been programmed to think in a particular way that has not helped you to move forward. Many of us think that we are the one taking decisions. No, it is the way we were raised, the way our handlers programmed us is the way that our subconscious mind also regulates the affairs and the outcomes of our lives. Now, you may not understand this in totality because it's deeper than what I'm just saying. And that's why this is the most difficult aspect of my training. When it comes to financial freedom, creating wealth and all of that, the most difficult is personal transformation. Because if at this point in time, you're already 50, you're already 40, you're already 55, you're already 70, right? The truth is that you have lived your life in a particular way for that length of time. So you're already set in your way. So it's the toughest. And until that changes, nothing else will change. Okay? And that's why it's the toughest. Now, listen to this carefully. When I say think abundance, I'm saying have an image. This is why vision board is so powerful. It's so powerful. Have an image of what you want to achieve in your life. You see it regularly. This is very, very powerful. It's a way to program your imagination, program your subconscious mind. You will easily and readily be able to recognize opportunities, products, services, platforms, people, places that will facilitate the realization of your dreams but you are not seeing them. You are blind to all the things that are already around you for your growth, because you really, really haven't programmed your subconscious mind to recognize them. So when you think abundance, one thing it will do for you is this, and this is very important. What it will do for you is that it will shape your perception. It will shape the way and manner you deal with issues. Okay? Very, very, very important. Extremely important. So one of the things I recommend you do as an action point is cut a picture of what you want to achieve. So let's say you want to be financially free, and the figure you need to be financially free, to consider yourself financially free, there's a way to calculate how much you need to be financially free, but it's beyond the scope of this particular challenge. You find that in my book, you find it also in my course. But let me quickly say this. If $1 million, for example, is the definition of financial freedom to you, cut it, look for that, type $1 million on the internet, go to image, you will see different images. The one that appeals to you the most, download it, print it, place it where you'll be seeing it regularly. It will influence your thinking. Now, more important is to think of people who already are in possession of what you want to achieve. And this is also very powerful. I see a lot of people who are not, I don't want to call, the right word is poor people, right? They conclude that all rich people are wicked people. They conclude that all rich people are thieves, and because they're never going to be thieves, they end up not becoming rich, because that's what you set up in motion. Not everyone who is rich is a thief. You have no idea the labor. I listened to the interview that Dangote granted just recently during the launch of the commissioning of the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, and they asked him the question, if he had the opportunity to do another one, will he do it again? He said, even this one, if he has an opportunity, he will never try it again, because it stretched them. It had a toll on his health. If you knew Dangote 6 years ago, he didn't have gray hair now. The thing stretched them, stretched their resources. So most of the people you are angry about, most of the people that you are envying, majority of them, you have no idea the sacrifices they make to attain the glory that you see there. There's what is called the weight of glory that most people are not familiar with. The enormous sacrifice, the enormous price they have paid, and they are still paying. So a lot of people, they speak ill of rich people, and they are wondering, you can't attract what you despise. You can't. It doesn't work like that. I don't care whether the person is of a different race. I don't care if the person belongs to another faith, whether the person is of a different religion. It's irrelevant. When somebody is successful, sir, there's a power that is backing them up. Whether you agree to the power or not is irrelevant. What matters is that, see, if you cannot bless them, don't curse them. Hello? If you cannot encourage them, don't discourage them. Hello? And this is one of the major mistakes that a lot of people make. Okay? So I want to recommend that imagine the figure you want to make, and then find people, 1 or 2 or 3 people who are already in possession of that kind of amount of money. So if there's anything whatsoever, lofty dream that you have in your heart that you want to accomplish, there's somebody already who is in possession of it. One critical thing you must do is to spend time imagining that person in possession, assuming that that person is now you. Just imagine it. Imagine that money in your bank account. The feeling, imagine that it is there right now as we speak. The feeling it brings to you, is unimaginable. Right? That's how you will be priming your subconscious mind readily. So when unfavorable circumstances happen around you, it will want to just, push you out of that posture. That's mental and spiritual posture. You get yourself back into it. No matter the circumstance is going on around you, make sure that you go back to it. All right? Very, very important. I'm not telling you it's something that is very easy. It's the most difficult thing that can ever happen. And once you take charge of this pace, you are truly in charge. If you sell it out, you have lost your freedom. This is so important. If any financial transformation you experience happens from external, somebody gave it to you, and it does not happen inside of you first, you will still lose it. This is why this is critical, very important. So think abundance. There is a principle that I'm going to share here that will help you to understand exactly the science behind how your thinking affects your results. I'll show you that shortly. But apart from your thinking, it's also what you speak. So think abundance, but also speak abundance. So you are going to do something with me right now, and I want you to rise up on your feet. I'm going to stay seated, but I want you to rise up on your feet wherever you are. And then close your eyes to maintain focus and to avoid distraction. Put your hand on your chest, and then you declare these affirmations along with me. This is so important. I want you to follow this instruction. Don't worry about anything. Just follow this instruction. This is very, very important. This is just going to be preliminary. I would recommend that you do this daily for the rest of your life if you really want to be wealthy. This is part of the program. You are reprogramming your subconscious mind. And there will be wars going on in your mind, fighting the talk and the things that you are going to be saying now, because your mind has not been accustomed to it. So say after me, I am very happy. Okay, so hold on a minute. I need you to follow this. Don't forget the image of the money you want to make. So have that picture in your mind. Have that image in your mind. Have the picture of the person who is already in possession of that money in your mind also, as you make these affirmations. Now, I want you to also visit your past. There was a time when a certain amount of money was an uphill task to achieve, but it came to pass. Can you remember anything in the past that happened? You never believed that you could ever generate such money, you could ever attract such money, no matter how small or big it is or it was to you. You achieved it. If there was anything like that, you need that image right now as well in making these affirmations. This is so powerful. This is so powerful. If I end this session today on this, honestly speaking, I'm good. I'm good with you guys. Say after me, I am very happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantity through multiple sources and on a consistent basis. I always have more money than I need, and I can't help but attract a lot of money into my life and businesses. Say after me, every day and every way, I am getting better and better, richer and richer, wiser and wiser, healthier and healthier. Amen. Say after me, I am very happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantity through multiple sources and on a consistent basis. Say after me, I always have more money than I need, and I can't help but attract a lot of money into my life and businesses. Every day and every way, I'm getting better and better, richer and richer, wiser and wiser, healthier and healthier. Amen. Open your eyes and then take your seats. How do you feel? There's something going on. For some of us, it will be a lot of battles, a lot of things distracting you, a lot of things saying, talking like that. You are saying you are happy. You know you are not happy. You know all your debt. You know all your gbese. You know something is fighting it. Those are your self-talk. Your self-talk has been the reason why you are where you are. But to elevate your self-talk, you need to start saying things that you want to see. That's how it's done. And that's how you reprogram your subconscious mind. This is very powerful. I actually recommend you do this like 50 times every day. So have a time that you set for it. Before you retire to bed, when you wake up, the last thing you do before you retire to bed, the first thing you do when you wake up, and then maybe you can set up another 12 noon. And if you can't do 50 times in each of those times, you can dedicate that. Maybe before you retire to bed, you do 50 times. When you do this, you are priming your mind. You are reprogramming it to produce answers, to produce solutions for your life, for your financial life. All right? All right. So that's that. Number two, we're still in number two. We said, think abundance. I've added to it, speak abundance too. So what you think and what you speak carries the same weight in the realm of the spirit. So words can be thoughts, and thoughts also can be words. Thoughts produce words, words produce thoughts. So when I speak, it produces thoughts in your mind. When you speak, it produces thoughts in my mind. So thoughts are words, words are thoughts. So it's important that you think abundance and you speak abundance. If you are thinking abundance, but you are speaking contrary, you are nullifying whatever it is that you have said. And that's why there has to be an alignment between what you are speaking and what you are thinking. This is very important. Now, let me quickly drop here the science behind your thoughts, the relationship between your thought and your results. Your thoughts, and follow this carefully, your thoughts, all right? So there's a concept we call the TEAR. TEAR, tear, TEAR. T there represents thoughts. E represents emotion. A represents action. R represents results. T represents thoughts. E represents emotion. A represents action. R represents results. Now, whatever thought preoccupies your mind, whatever thought preoccupies your mind, eventually becomes and precipitates into an emotion or feeling. Whatever you dwell on long enough in your mind eventually precipitates into an emotion. That emotion is what fuels your action. That emotion is what fuels your action. Now, your action is what produces the results. Do you see it? So, what I often recommend to my clients and to people who attend programs like this that I host are this. Number one, what is the result you want to see in your life? In whatever area, but for the purpose of this particular class, what result do you want to see as far as your finances is concerned? Maybe you want your business to be producing $1 million in revenue every month, turnover every month. It can be, oh, I want my business to have their headquarters, 7 floors, right? Whatever whatever looks like it that represent the success you want to see, right, is the results. Now, you now get a physical interpretation, which can be a picture or image of someone who has already accomplished it and what they have accomplished. Then put it where you see it regularly and make sure you think about it regularly. As you make these affirmations regularly also with that picture in your mind, it also will precipitate into an emotion. You wake up, you think about it, you sleep, before you retire to bed, you are thinking about it, you are speaking the thing. Over a period of time, it will grow into an emotion. That emotion is what will fuel your action. So actions don't just happen, right? So when you see people, they are just demotivated. It is because what they have been dwelling on in their thoughts. If you see people who are very motivated, who are always out pushing and taking steps, because either somebody has spoken to them. That's why you see some coaches, when they are talking to their team members, say, you can do it. You can do it. You can make it. You can achieve it. They are speaking to their subconscious mind. You are bigger than this. You can do it. You've done it before. You can do another one. You can break new records. They are saying something. So listen, you have to be your number one coach. You have to be your number one coach. You can do it, and nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Okay? And then that emotion is what fuels your action. That action ultimately will generate the result. Now, once there's a misalignment between the result you want to see and the actions and the thoughts in your mind, it will never come to fruition. So to ensure that there's an alignment, make sure that what you want to achieve is what preoccupies your mind. This is very powerful. It's very important. I cannot belabor on that. Number 3, I think I will end with this one. There are about 8 different things you must do to become a money magnet, but let me just drop this one. Number 3 is sell what people can't do without. Sell what people can't do without. And this is so important in the sense that money is a means of exchange. If you take nothing to the market, you get nothing back in return. So whenever you are thinking of the money you want to make, also be thinking of what am I going to give in exchange for that money. So when we say sell what people can do without, we are simply talking about value. We are saying offer value. Bring value to the market. As long as what you are bringing to the market is solving problems for people, is meeting needs in the lives of people, is adding value, is solving problems for them, forget it. Money will be what you will be getting in return. So as long as what you are bringing to the market is adding value to people's lives, solving problems for them, then money will come to you. So when we say sell what people can't do without, we are simply saying you understand the needs of the people, the need of your demography, of your particular target audience, and then you are providing specific information for them. You are providing specific service or products for them. Now, product or service are conveyors of value. And so when we say sell what people can do without, it's like saying nobody can do without taking water, for example, right? But there is water and there is water. Okay, so your responsibility is to make sure you sell what people can do without. You know, the beautiful thing about this is that you don't have to be the producer. You don't have to be the manufacturer. So you don't need to own a factory to sell what people can do without. You just need to find what people really are craving for and then offer it, negotiate with the producer and then offer it to the people who need what you are selling. Are you getting what I'm talking about? I remember, I'm speaking here to executives, to entrepreneurs, I believe. It's important to recognize this. There was a TV show by Back of Industry in Nigeria that a particular gentleman was interviewed, and he was talking about how that he is into vegetable oil production, but he doesn't do retail at all. He does wholesale. He produces for other major brands in Nigeria that we all know. He says, so all they do is they contract the job to him, and he does the production. They put their own label and they go and do distribution. So they focus on distribution, packaging and distribution. He focuses on production, right? And everybody in the value chain is making money. Now, the reason why Bank of Industry interviewed him was because they gave him loan and he was talking about his own business model. Had a gentleman too who used to be a member of our church years ago, who was a chemist, and he produces skincare, hair products. He read chemistry in the university, industrial chemistry in university, And that was the business he was doing. And he told me clearly that most of the people that are selling all these, I don't want to mention names now. He mentioned their names. I said, wow. That's heavy. That's heavy. Now, what does that communicate? The real business is those who are interfacing with the market. I've said it time and again, the owner of the market is way more superior than the owner of the factory. The owner of the market is way more superior than the owner of the factory. Now, hear me clearly. There are three markets that every one of us must pay attention to. Now, this market describes the starving market. Number one is the health market. Health market, and there are sub-markets to the health market. So whether you run a diagnostic center or whether you have a wellness center, you are a gym instructor, that's still part of the health market. Whether you have a pharmacy, it's a health market. Whether you have a hospital, it's a health market. All right, those are sub-market of the health market. Now, these markets are fundamentally, growing markets. They never deplete because there's constant demand for it. All right, you don't need to be passionate about it. It is what people need that you should focus on. There are many things you are passionate about that will not bring money, but there are other things that will bring money, that can produce income, that will fund your passion. All right, so this is very important. Then there's also the wealth market, number two. Wealth market. Wealth market is essentially everything that helps people to make money or save money. So if you are a coach, you are a consultant, you are a stockbroker, you are a real estate agent or real estate developer, whatever, or investor, that is the market. All right? Even if you play in the crypto space, even though I don't believe so much in crypto, I believe in blockchain revolution, I believe in quite a number of them, but I don't believe in it from the angle of using it as an investment vehicle. But I see it as more of an exchange that will disrupt the way and manner we trade and we transact in the coming years. That's what I see it to be. Okay? Now, that is number three. Number four is the relationship market. I said earlier that one of the greatest need of mankind is the need for acceptance. And this is where sex works. A lot of people who do sex talk, sex therapy, they do all sorts of relationship coaching, do all sorts of stuff around this territory. Those are the sub-markets. I can go on and on, but these three are the starving crowd. So if you are thinking of what can I sell, stop thinking of what can I produce. There are people already producing it. Is to find the market for these products, and then you focus on it. Hello? Once you sell what people can't do without, I can tell you people can't do without acceptance. People need acceptance. That's why somebody can have all the monies in this world, but they're still looking for people who respect them. They're still looking for people, who will love them. All right? That's why people pay for sex. That's why people pay for drugs. They pay for those of you who are football freaks, I'm not one, but watching a championship league in your house and watching it with the boys, it's not the same thing. The feeling that you get is not the same thing. And there are people who are cashing out on that feeling and the need for community. All right? That is money you are leaving on the table. Now, for some of us who are doing certain kinds of businesses, this is a revolutionary idea that can help you to reconstruct the way and manner you are taking your product to the market. All right? This is very, very important. Sell what people can't do without. One time they were interviewing Ray Kroc, the guy who eventually took over McDonald's. And they said, the guy was asking in the class and said, what do you think he's selling? And people said, oh, you sell burger, you sell this, you sell that. I said, no. He said, my main business is real estate business. His real business is not burger. So burger is the front end, real estate is the back end. So whatever is your core product, whatever is your core business, you can make it the back end and put something else in front that will give you access to markets. Am I communicating here? This is so important. I wish I could spend more time here, but there's a lot more for us to cover, and time is of essence. So I'm going to end that on this session. Have you drawn value? Is it adding value? Is it making sense? I wish I could talk more on this. I wish I could really, really talk more on this. Now, let's talk about, let me move to the next session. By the way, it would be nice for me to mention that all these things that I'm sharing here have already been packaged as a course. So I have what is called the Financial Freedom course. Before I move to session 2, let me quickly see if I can touch on that. Excuse me, please. Okay, so I have what is called the Financial Freedom Bundle Offer. Now, if you know me, you know that this thing is deeper than what I've just shared, and I cannot exhaust it, okay? So let me just quickly run through this just in a second. There's so much to cover, so little time we have to cover them. So that's why I'm doing this. So this Financial Freedom course is currently going for $247 or $185,250. Now, that's the course itself. Then we have the book. I'll come back to session 2 shortly. Then we have the book, just $27. We have a new version of it. It's the same content, but different cover on Amazon. So you find it there. But this excludes shipping cost. Please take note of that. Then there's the vision board course. I told you about the fact that we all think in pictures, we all think in images and all of that. This vision board course would literally transform your appreciation of the things I've shared. That goes for just $197. And we have the Winning in Business course. This is robust, very, very powerful. Part of the key elements in this particular course is the viability analysis. How you can really know exactly which business to go for, right? Even if you have all the money in this world, right? And you have all the contact in this world, which of the businesses is most valuable? How do you prioritize the launch of your business? Many of us want to start all the businesses together, but we're not prioritizing them. This material will tremendously be of great value to you. That one is going for $247. Then we have the How to Plan Your Life course. This is phenomenal. Now, by the way, these are all video programs, video courses that are just off the roof. I always share with people that having a financial plan is very good. Having a business plan is equally good. Having a family plan is fantastic, but having a life plan is way more superior, right? And this is what this will teach you. And there's a framework, something that I've adopted that has worked for me, that can work for just about anybody. That one goes for $197 as well. Then there's a Tribe of Wealthy Origin. Now, once you, the Tribe of Wealthy Origin is a community of people who are on the journey to financial freedom. Now, if this looks like you, I mean, you also get this one. It's also part of the package. It goes for $197 right now, and it's lifetime membership. And then, of course, I host periodic coaching programs on that platform. So it will be a great opportunity for me to be your coach. And this is priceless. There's no way we can put an amount to it. Now, all these things put together, all these courses that I've just mentioned, all go for $1,112 or 834,000 naira. Now, for this one-time offer, you have an opportunity to buy everything, get everything, including the book, for $247 or 185,000 naira, 250 naira. 185,250 naira. So it's either of those two, and this excludes shipping cost for the book. Please take note of that. Now, this is going to be valid for only 48 hours. So if you are interested, you can take advantage of it. Just call the number 070-8797-0441. So you can chat the person, or you can chat my assistant up right away and get the updates, and then they can process all of this for you. We have two options for you here. You can do an easy payment, the easy payment plan, or outright special. The outright special is you pay $247 and then you will save $865, or you'll be saving 648,750 naira, right? Or you pay in installments, and that by so doing you pay $300 in total, or you will save $812, and then you will also be so all you do basically is pay $100 every month for 3 months, or 75,000 every month for 3 months. If that's what, you just find your own place, and then you can pay into any of these accounts. So if you are anywhere else in Nigeria, you're anywhere in Nigeria, you can pay to that account details there. You can screen grab it and then settle it. Or if you are in America, or you have someone in America that can help you make the payment and you do your exchange, then you can sell the payment to this particular account. Now that is on that. Let me move on back to my class. So let's get into, now you will be deriving a lot more value. It's because there's no way we can conclude everything that we need to learn or we need to share on this platform that we also bring in that bit. Okay. Let's take a cursory look at this. The next thing we want to look at is how to achieve your financial targets. How to achieve your financial target now and always. So I want to show you four things rather, to achieve a financial target. But in order to help you achieve your financial targets, it's important to also understand the concept around goal setting. Now, there's a notable quote by Greg Reed, in this one quote that I really, really love, and it speaks follow. The guy said, "A dream written down with a date becomes a goal." He said, "A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. A plan backed by action makes your dreams come true." I'll repeat that again. A dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. And then a plan backed by action makes your dream come true. Now, achieving your financial target is one major dream, one major desire of a lot of people. But what I have been able to crack is the formula and the principle that undergirds achieving it. And that's what I want to share here. Now, because of the constraint of time, I won't go into the details of goal setting, which is critical. I just want to narrow in on achieving your financial target so that we can have sufficient time to take questions. Number one is, how much money do you really want to make? You want to achieve a financial target? That's a very important question you need to ask yourself. How much money do you really want to make? Now, this is a question of income. This is a question of income. How much money do you really want to make? How much money do you really want to make? Now, in order to clearly determine how much money you want to make, it's important to use these two frameworks. Number one is your obligations. Now, I think I did mention this earlier, but just in case, because I've spoken in different places, so let me just mention this here. If you don't make money, there are three possibilities. Number one, you start begging for money. When you run out of people to beg from, you start borrowing. Once you run out of people to borrow from, the next thing that you start doing is either you start stealing or you start cutting corners and compromising. Now, none of these three options is honorable. In fact, option 3 will land you in jail. So it's important that we make money and we make it legitimately. And that's why understanding the exact framework that we're sharing here is so important. So if you add many of the things we are sharing here together, you realize that, well, there's a whole lot more, a lot of value that you can use and you can implement. Now, how much money you want to make is a question of income. But to determine how much money will be your target is where a lot of people make mistakes. So I hear occasionally when I ask some of my team members, some of my partners, some of my friends, say, "Alright, what's your target for the year?" And you just hear big figures. "I want to make 50 million. I want to make 100 million. I want to make..." Those things sound inspired, but they don't even believe the thing they are setting themselves. So this is the framework I usually share. Number one is make a list of your obligations in monetary terms. Make a list of your obligations, how much you owe. So if your children are going to school, it means that you are owing school fees. Now or later, you will still pay school fees. If you are a tenant, you still pay rent. So you list it. If you are debt, interest-bearing debt, you list it as well. All right. Now, the reason this is so important is because as human beings, we are motivated by pain or pleasure. We are motivated by pain or pleasure. And we are either running away from something or we are running towards something. This is so important. We are either running away from something or we are running towards something. So it's important to clarify what are your obligations. Your obligations are the things that will inflict pain, can bring shame if you don't fulfill them. So that will create the impetus to pursue your dreams and foster energy to achieve exactly what you want to achieve. This is so critical, so important. All right. Number 2 is your aspirations. So once you've listed out your various obligations, you are the one who know them. List them out in monetary terms, add them all up, give you a figure. Then look at your aspirations. Your aspirations speak to things that will give you some degree of comfort, or that will give you some degree of fulfillment, or bring you some level of peace and convenience. Maybe buying a second car or buying a better car, maybe going for your PhD program, maybe going for maybe registering a new business, maybe buying a house, maybe buying a land. These are key things. So these are aspirations that you also need to list out in monetary terms. Add them all up. So add your entire aspirations in monetary terms, add every obligation you have in monetary terms, then add it all up together. It gives you a sense of exactly how much money you want to make. And let me say this up front. How much money you want to make in this particular case may not be something, because by the time you add it all up, depending on the number of other factors, may not be something you can accomplish in 1 year. It was Tony Robbins who said, and I quote, he said that a lot of times we underestimate what we can achieve in 5 years, but overestimate what we can achieve in 1 year. He said we underestimate what we can achieve in 5 years, but overestimate what we can achieve in 1 year. So in trying to keep your targets very realistic, make sure that you evaluate your capacity, your network, your opportunities, the resources, everything you have built over the years. Dangote can pull off that kind of feat that he pulled. He would never have tried that 30 years ago, because he has certainly had to evaluate the resources, the network, the goodwill. He leveraged quite a lot of things to make that happen. For NNPC to even buy into the shares of Dangote Petroleum Refinery, you must know that you must have contact, you must have network, right? So you must have a clout. So don't set the Dangote kind of target when you don't have Dangote network. Don't set Dangote targets when you don't have Dangote goodwill. This is so important. So match your obligations and aspirations together, along with, is it going to be accomplished within 5 years, within 3 years, and set a plan for it. And this is so important. Now, by having your whatever will cause you pain is enough to propel you to action, right? Whatever will bring you pleasure is also enough to propel action. And that's why this is so important. So how much money you want to make is a question of income. Number 2 is how much sale will fetch you that income. How much sale will fetch you that income? Now, this is so critical. I have said it before, and I'm going to repeat it again. Every time you say you want to make 20 million, ask yourself, what am I going to give in exchange for that money? Every time you write out your obligations, you write out your aspirations, and you see all the money that you need to fulfill those things, ask yourself, what am I going to give in exchange? So when we talk about sales, what we're simply saying is that what are you going to give in exchange for that money? So what value are you going to put out there? That's pretty much what we're saying. Right? So in mathematical terms, if 10 million, assuming 10 million is what you need for this whole year, for the rest of this year, right, to fulfill your obligations and fulfill your aspirations, then the question we should be asking is, how much sale will fetch you that income? Then we can now look at this. So assuming that You are also a distributor of vegetable oil, like I illustrated earlier, or you are a distributor of skincare products, like I illustrated earlier, right? And you know that for every product you sell, you make like maybe 10% or 20%, but for each of calculation, let's just use 10%. It means that for you to earn 10 million naira income, you need to sell 100 million naira worth of products. That's simply what it means. Is that correct? That's what it simply means. So it means you need to sell 100 million naira worth of products. So your sales will be 100 million naira because we've established that assuming you make 10% for every sale you make. All right? Now, how much money do you want to make? Question one, and it's the step one. And I've shown you exactly how to arrive at that particular income target. Number two is how much sale will fetch you that income. And I've also established what we must do in practical terms. Number three is how many products will fetch that sale that will bring about that income. How many products? Now, I mentioned earlier in session one that products convey value. All right? So people really don't buy your product. They buy what the product does for them. They buy the value that the product adds to them. So if you cannot decipher exact value that your product is offering, that may be one major reason people are not buying. So how many products is about the quantity of product you need to sell that will fetch you the income. So if, for example, each of your products sell for maybe 10,000 naira, how many 10,000 naira products do you need to sell to generate 100 million naira sale? That would be about 1,000. That's about, yeah. No, that's about 100,000. Am I correct? Please, let's do the math quickly. $100 million divided by 10,000. Okay, that's 10,000. That means you need to sell 10,000 pieces. 10,000 pieces of that product needs to be sold, right, in order to generate 100 million. So now you know step one. How much money do you want to make? We said 10 million. That is just an assumption, and it will vary from person to person. But for ease of calculation, we're just using that round figure. Number two is how much sale will fetch you that income, all right? And then we've also established that if you earn 10% of that money, what it simply means you need to do 100 million. Then we have now looked at how many products that convey the value your products, that conveys value to your customers, must you sell, which is now seen as 10,000 pieces, okay? Now, number four, which is the main deal, and pay attention to this. If you miss out on this, you've missed out. Number four is who need these products? Who need these products? The first question is a question of income. The second question is a question of sale or value. The third question is a question of product and the quantity, product quantity. The fourth question is a question of people. Listen to me carefully, everyone. Regardless of the industry in which you play, you are primarily in the business of people. It is people who buy, it is people who sell. So you are primarily in the business of people. So who need these products? Who need what it is you are selling? Who is holding your money? Where can they be found? Where do they worship? Where do they unwind? Where do their children school? This is critical. And then the second corollary to that question is who know the people that need your products? Or who are the people currently serving your ideal target market? Knowing this will help you to establish and forge strategic alliances and strategic partnerships. If the people who buy your products use a particular airline, there's nothing stopping you from partnering with that airline. If people who use your product, have you not noticed it was Mr. Biggs that got this right at the initial stage when their business was booming? I don't know what they got wrong, but I'm sure that Mr. Biggs is also another major big business case study that we need to really study in Nigeria to know exactly what we must not do or what we must do. And every business will go through one phase of crisis or another. But Mr. Biggs is one major case. Now, listen, Mr. Biggs, at a point in their business, partnered with, what's it called them now? Partnered with mobile filling stations. Now, that alliance gave them a lot of footprints, brought them closer to their ideal customers. So whoever is buying fuel can buy food. So as you need fuel for your car, you need fuel for yourself. So it was a strategic alliance. So who is currently serving your ideal customer? Right? This is so important. A lot of times we don't pay attention to these things. And I mean, the Elewa going, for those of you who know the local bean seller, around town, you know that these guys are very strategic. They collaborate with the guy selling bread. The guy selling gala collaborate with the guy selling drinks. And they do it so well. They do it so creatively. They know that, okay, so whoever buys gala, we need drink to wash it down. So they stay, in close proximity to one another. So they know that when anybody who buys this, and that's the way real economies are built. They are built in ecosystems. So it's unfortunate that in Nigeria, we don't really pay attention to that. So you want to find out who are the people who need what I am selling from the angle of who is already serving them too. So anybody, if I'm selling cement, if cement is my real business, my real product, I just establish partnership with engineers, civil engineers, contractors, construction companies. That's partnership. There's no way I will constantly be getting supplies to deliver. Is that not correct? If you are a pharmacist, there's no reason why you should not befriend doctors. All right? There's no reason why you should not befriend doctors. Those should be your priority. If you are a diagnostic center, there's no reason why you should not have doctors as your partners. This is so important. So who need what you are selling? Where can they be found? Who is currently serving your ideal market? This will go a long way in helping you. Now, if you get step 1 to step 3 right, but you don't get step 4 right, you still not achieve your financial targets. And this is so important, as it is true for entrepreneurs. It is also true for executives who are also working for other organizations. All right? This is so important. I want to believe that you've derived and you've drawn value from that. Because of our time, we have barely 1 hour to go. Let me see if I can complete the next session in another 30 minutes, so that we can take 30 minutes to wrap up and take questions. Is that fine? If you are in with me, say yes. Just type yes. So if you don't mind, you are free. You can rise up on your feet. Just rise up on your feet and then just stretch. Stretch. Just push a little on your neck. Been sitting for 2 hours now. All right. So let's get back on our seat. So now we want to look at. So the session 1, we looked at personal transformation. Who you become really matters a great deal, and it's a whole bundle on its own. And there's a lot more to share that we cannot cover. That's why I recommended you get those courses. Really, it will tremendously impact you. The second thing is making money. Now, personal transformation is very important. Income generation is important. Now, personal transformation is the foundation of wealth creation. It's the foundation for financial freedom. Income generation is the pillar of wealth creation, because you can't manage or multiply money you have not yet made. So making money is one skill that you must develop. one of the biggest investments you would have to make, and you will always have to make, is investing your capability to generate money. Now, if anything is taken away from me today, God forbid, right? If they take everything away from me, I can reproduce it even faster. You know why? The efforts I have put in myself in building capacity, i.e., is something else altogether. I'm telling you, it's extraordinary. Okay, so you want to seriously pay attention to that. Now, when you now start making the money, what do you do with the money? When you have now achieved your financial targets, you are making money, money is flowing every angle. What do you do to really achieve this financial freedom? That's why this session 3 is so important. So let's run through this. We're looking at creating wealth. I saw this quote by Jim Rohn, very, very inspiring, very instructive. I love quotes a lot because they give me things to go and chew. They give me things to go meditate upon and digest. Now, he said something. He said, to become financially free, he said, you must turn a part of your income into capital. Turn a part of your income into capital. He says, then turn capital into enterprise. In other words, do business. You may not start with business, but do business with a part of your capital. Then he says, turn enterprise into profits. And then turn profit into investments. And then he said, investment will certainly turn into financial freedom. Start with income. You move that income to become a part of it, turn it into capital. You have to survive, you have to live for the season. So you have to eat, you have to live, you have to be alive. So he said, but a part of that income, turn it into capital, build up capital, build up capital. And you can use different means to build up capital, not just savings. You can use several means. We're going to hopefully touch on them. And then turn that capital to enterprise. I don't know of any other faster means to create wealth than doing business, particularly if you operate in a capitalist economy. I don't know of any that will give you advantage, that will give you leverage, that will give you. And Nigeria is somewhat a capitalist society. All right? America is significantly a capitalist society. That's why only 20% of Americans, only 20% of Americans earn up to $100,000 per annum. Only 20%. So a vast majority actually earn less than that. And for those who may not understand, if you are translating it into Naira, you may think that, oh, that's a lot of money. It's not a lot of money because the quality of life here is also as high as the quality and the cost of living in America. Okay, so a lot of times people don't match those two things together. Somebody can be earning $2,500 a month, but his bukata is $5,000. So if you are using your Nigerian brain to do the maths, you'll be thinking, so the only way and the smartest way in this operating environment, in American environment, in capitalist environment, is to consider enterprise. So enterprise, either you do it in partnership or you do it as an individual, right? And then the enterprise should produce you profit. Profit should be turned into investment, and then investment will give you financial freedom. Now, there are 3 vital ingredients that is required if you must, achieve financial freedom. Number 1 is financial intelligence. Number 2 is financial planning. Number 3 is financial discipline. Number 1 is financial intelligence. Number 2 is financial planning. Number 3 is financial discipline. These 3 ingredients are so important if you want to make it to financial freedom. If you want to create wealth, you need these 3 ingredients. The first one is financial planning. The first one is financial intelligence. I beg your pardon. Financial intelligence. What exactly do we mean when we talk about financial intelligence? Financial intelligence is essentially understanding exact ways money works, the inner game of money, understanding the vehicles of wealth creation, understanding the various asset classes that can fast track your attainment of wealth. All right. Understanding the difference between the various components of wealth creation. All right. The components are things like, passive income, active income. So what's the difference between passive and active income? What's the difference between salary and income in itself? Right? What's the difference between good and bad debts? Right? If they say, oh, don't borrow, what do they really mean? Don't borrow for consumption, but borrow to acquire assets. All right? What's the difference between cash flow and profits? All right? What's the difference between risk and return? So when you are financially intelligent, you'll be abreast of these facts. You'll be thoroughly educated. You will know exactly the difference between these three things, or this couple of elements I've mentioned. Now, it's important to say here that the quality of your financial destiny cannot be better than the quality of your financial decisions. And the quality of your financial decisions cannot be better than the quality of your financial information, which is why this is how we accumulate, this is how we develop and build up financial intelligence. We do so by training. We do so by training, by grooming, by building our capacity. So by reading books, by attending programs like this is how we build our financial intelligence. This is never developed or taught in schools of higher learning. And that's why not many professors are rich. Okay? Not many professors are financially free. All right? So ability to make sense of financial statements and make quality decisions of it. That's what financial intelligence does for you. All right. The next one is financial planning. Now, as important as financial intelligence is, if you don't graduate to developing a plan, then you will also be running a great risk. Now, developing a plan is one of those important elements because you need a plan to determine what counts and when it counts. You need a plan to determine what counts and when it counts. All right? You need a plan. So how do you develop a financial plan? Let's quickly run through them. I love using questions as a way to drive home my points. So number one is, where am I? Where am I? This is the first question you need to ask yourself in developing a financial plan. Where exactly am I? And this is a question of location with reference to your age. So you are 40 right now, right? And if you are not married, it means that when are you going to get married? If you have obligations, and even if you are married, you ascertain all the responsibilities that you have. What are your obligations? What's the size of your network? What's your cash flow like? What's your source or source of income like? What are your sources of expenses like? All right, like I said earlier, many people have multiple streams of expenses, but have fewer streams of income or no stream of income at all. Some people have just one, some don't have at all. So you want to ascertain where exactly you are, and being honest with yourself is critical in order to forge a clear direction. So where am I? So it's a question of location. Number two is, where am I going, or where am I headed? This is a question of destination. Where am I headed? Where am I headed? So if you are 40 today, in 10 years' time, you'll be 50. If you are 50 today, in 10 years' time, you'll be 60. So every indices you use in ascertaining your current location are the same indices you will ask yourself, where would I want to be here? So if now you don't have a house, now you don't have this, now you are in debt, now you are in this, where would you love to see yourself in 10 years' time? Where would you love to see yourself in 5 years' time? So if you have 3 children, are you still going to give back to more and make them up to 12 so that by 10 years, you'll have a football team? You have to ascertain it. It's part of your plan. If you have no house now and you are close to retirement, the question you should be asking is, okay, will I now have a house by that time? You have 10 years to retirement, you have 5 years to retirement. These are things that you need to begin to look out for. Where am I headed? Where am I going? The next important question is, how do I get there? 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 Now, this is a question of route or pathway. Now, there are those who, by their personality, by their design and makeup, they are cut out for as career professionals. So the idea of starting a business does not cut it for them. And it's good to know that. But it's also important to know upfront that according to research, only 2% of world's richest men and women, became wealthy through salaries. It's good to know that. So you will only have a 2% chance of creating wealth by being a salary earner. Now, when we say starting a business, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be the founder or whatever. You can also be a part owner. You can buy into existing business from your revenue. You can buy, there are different strategies. Each time permits, we'll look into that. All right, so where am I going? Oh, sorry, how do I get there? So you can use career, and there are a number of people who have used this as a means. I remember Dangote saying that many of the people working with him have houses in London, have houses all over the world, but he doesn't have anything anywhere. As at the time he granted this particular interview to Al Jazeera. Another vehicle, another path to this is investment. Now, all of us cannot start a business, but all of us must be all of us must be investors. And the other part is entrepreneurship. And in my opinion, this is the fastest, but it comes with its own rigors. It will drain you. It will suck you. Entrepreneurship can be rewarding, but can also be extremely challenging. You can still do everything right and still go wrong in business. That's how serious it is. But it's important to establish what path you want to follow. What route do you want to follow? Don't do follow. This one is personal. It has to be personal. Number 4 is what resources will aid your arriving there. This journey I want to embark upon. What resources do I need to arrive at the wealthy place? Now, this is a question of vehicle. This is a question of vehicle. And here we're talking about the various asset classes, instruments, and all of those things. So the vehicle is what determines how early or late you arrive at the wealthy place. Now, there's a place called the wealthy place, but getting there can be faster for some, depending on their choice of vehicle, and for some other people, it can be slower. So your choice of vehicle is what determines how early or late you arrive there. Now, I don't care your current level of education. If you choose the wrong vehicle, it will determine how late or early you arrive at the wealthy place. And so you have to be and that's why you need an accountability partner. You also need, coaching. You need guidance, okay? And then we'll be taking a couple of questions shortly. And then when I get there, how do I retain and sustain it? When I get there, how do I retain and sustain it? You've drawn a plan. This is where you are going. This is how you want to get there. This is where you are. You have ascertained all of that. You've determined, okay, I want to be a career professional who will be investing a significant portion of the money I make, or I will start a business and this is the way I'm going to pursue it. You have defined all of those things. And then you are choosing that, okay, these are the asset classes you are going to be using to make your way to the wealthy place. The question is, when I get there, how do I retain and sustain it? A lot of times we set agenda on how to make it, but we don't set an agenda in our plans on how to retain and sustain it. And this is one of the biggest problems. And that's why it's so important in your plan. Now, this is a question of retention. This is a question on retention. Now, I mentioned something about what resources do you need, number 4. And the resources speaks to vehicles of wealth creation. There are top 4 vehicles that most wealthy people all around the world have used in creating wealth consistently and predictably. Number 1 is capital market. And by capital market, we mean you buy into companies that are already listed in Nigerian Stock Exchange, London Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange, and a host of other stock markets around the world. Now, this market is very dynamic and has requires a lot of dexterity and a lot of research. And so you need a whole lot to be able to play this market. So you need a lot of intelligence. to be able to play in this market. Some of the big guys who play in this market, they've hired stockbrokers. In fact, some companies, some individuals have hired stockbroking firms for themselves. In fact, many of the companies that are listed on the floor of stock exchange in different parts of the world hire stockbroking firms that will be pushing the agenda of their company stock. They are the drivers of the stock itself. So there's a lot of games that goes on. And unfortunately, in Nigerian stock market, unfortunately, the watchdog, which is supposed to be SEC, has now somewhat been compromised. So I want to believe they are doing their best, but stock market is there's still a lot more to be done. Now, I'm not saying anything against it. I'm only saying that when you are playing that market, you need a lot of information. And it's a market that can also be influenced by sentiments. So if, for example, you bought a stock that was founded by someone who no longer owned the lion's share of that company, and that person marries a fifth wife or marries a seventh wife, that sentiment can crash the stock market, can crash the price of that stock. That's how sentimental the market can get sometimes. And there are other times when information will just slip. Oh, this particular stock is going up. Let's buy into it now. And if you don't have access to that information, you won't be able to plug in. But by and large, whenever you are playing the stock market, always recognize it's a long-term game. It's a long-term game. It's a long-term game. It's a long-term game. And you need access to research material. So you need a lot more market intelligence. You need a lot more dexterity to be able to play in there. And that's why you need solid partnership with people who are in the stock, who are trading. Number 2 is business, entrepreneurship. Starting a business, growing a business is one of the fastest ways to create wealth. It's one of the fastest. In fact, it's the fastest. Depending on the choice of industry you make. All right. The next one is intellectual property. Now, not everybody will be able to play in intellectual space, but if you are able to create a solution that the world requires, you are able to create a patented product or service that can solve problems for people, then it will bring you a lot of value as well. All right, that can give you. I mean, imagine that you are you created, you invented a solution to HIV or cancer. You're automatic billionaire. It's not a World Health Organization will engage you. All the major nations of the world will fly you with private jet to their countries to come and establish. That automatically makes you a billionaire. Okay, but before you get to that point, you will need to do a lot of work. Okay, and then number 4 is real estate, and this is by far the most reliable vehicle for not only creating wealth but also helping you to preserve your wealth. All right, and so you want to have a mix of cash flowing generating assets as well as cash appreciating assets. Cash flowing generating assets and cash appreciating assets. So you need a blend of both. You need a blend of both when it comes to real estate. So you can get involved in some kind of land banking ventures. You can also get involved in some kind of housing schemes that will give you steady cash flow, particularly if you put it out for short lets on Airbnb, it can establish cash flow for you. So you can decide to do business and take advantage of any of these other 3 or any other means of generating income. But you can decide that where real estate will be the haven, the safe haven, where you hide your resources, where you invest predominantly. On this slide, I'm going to show my own financial freedom template. And this is what I recommend. Number 1, I recommend that you make money. Number 2, I recommend that you save 20% at least of all that you earn. No matter how small it is, save 20%, right? Then of that 20%, so that 20% will not be your whole disposable income. The 100% of that money now is where you save, you invest 50% into real estate. I recommend 50% of that into real estate. Now, for those of us who still have a lot of obligations, whose income is still very, very low, your 20% may not make much right now. And there are those who may be able to do even much more than save more than 20% of their revenue because they don't really have obligations, right? As such. So make sure that you save in. So I don't do 20%, right? In fact, I don't even, this is just the simplest of templates, but you can modify to suit your particular situation and circumstance. There's what we call situational analysis. What works for someone may not necessarily work for another person. We may be the same age, but we don't have similar circumstance. So it's important that you capture this and not just implement hook, line, and sinker. We have to evaluate your particular situation and customize something that will work for you. I'll be willing to work with you, particularly those of you who subscribe to any of my courses. I'll be willing to work with you on a one-on-one basis. Just book a session with my assistant, and we would I can walk you through on some of the things. And then even if you have some business challenge or issues, I've been through several issues. I've been through different things in my short life, and you can leverage many of those things too. Number 4, invest 20% of your reserve into new businesses. So I encourage that you don't just only do real estate. Real estate will give you safety and will preserve your wealth, but also consider new business ventures, right? New startups. You don't need to start new businesses. I mean, personally, part of the decisions I took a few years ago was that I was no longer interested in being a serial entrepreneur, but being a serial investor, right? So I would rather collaborate with other people who are specialists in their own fields, right? And then invest in there. So that's pretty much my own framework. If that's not what works for you, the new business can even be another business you are starting, because the other one you created has been successful and it's now running on autopilot. You can start another one, but 20% of your reserve can be going into that. Then 20% should be invested in your personal development. Like I said before, you are the most important critical success factor. If it must be, it's up to you. All right. And then repeat step 1 to 5. You keep making money, you keep doing it the same way, and then the cycle continues, and then you keep expanding. I end up with this story. Years ago, I was invited to Chrisland school in BGC to come and train some of their teachers. And by the time I was done training, a woman ran after me and said, please, can you hold on a moment? So that was a phenomenal session and all of those things. And then he said, is there any time we would ever be free from having to save money, invest and everything? And I said to her, I said, madam, I want to bust your bubble. Whether you save and invest or not, the money will still not go around. And if you don't save, you are not safe. The woman sighed. It's like, It was like, you mean this thing continues? So it continues. It continues. The same way bigger businesses are still advertising, are still marketing, are still recruiting, are still hiring, and all of those things. Small businesses should not be tired of doing the same. All right? So this is so important. So this is where I'm going to draw the curtain for tonight, and then we take questions. But before we start taking questions, please just type your questions in the room. Let me give a quick announcement. One is that you can check me out on all my social media handles. You can also check me on YouTube. You can actually follow me on YouTube. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel on, just look for Oladipupo Clement on YouTube channel and subscribe to my channel. I've started to post content on that. I started last week to stay focused. I have an accountability partner and a coach who is keeping me accountable. So even though I have a lot of content, I'm a content machine myself, I've not been doing much on YouTube. So we have an agreement, which I'm fulfilling now. So is to be putting out content. So every Saturday by 9 p.m., every Saturday, you go on my YouTube channel, you'll see new content on that channel that will really inspire you. I speak more around real estate, wealth creation, business. Those are the areas where I speak on. And so if you need content that will inspire you around those areas, feel free to check them out. And then you also feel free to share with your friends and loved ones as they do. And then don't forget the course that I mentioned. The courses are also still available. Let me see. Um, mm, yeah, so the costs are still there. So instead of paying all of these amounts, you get everything just for this, for 247. So you are getting everything for the price of one. You are getting a whole lot more just for the price of one. So I believe that is a great offer that you shouldn't miss, you shouldn't take for granted. All right, so let's take questions. If there are any, I'm ready to take them right now. So we have about 22 minutes to wrap up. Yeah, I think I tried in managing the time well. Okay. I should paraphrase on a very simple way of entering into the real estate market or real estate business. I should paraphrase. I've done a YouTube video on that, and I think it cannot be better. I cannot say it better than that. So I did a video. I dropped a video there last week. So you can check it out on 4 simple ways by which you can play in the real estate space. And that will tremendously help you. So I know so. So you can check it out. And then that already answers your question. That's why I'm not going to respond to that yet. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Arolo. Any other question? Do we have questions? 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 Questions, questions, questions. It appears there are no more questions. All right, so in the absence of any question, somebody saying, please, I mentioned in point how to be a money magnet. I said, number 1, practice gratitude. Number 2, think and speak abundance. Number 3, I said, sell what people can do without. There are about at least 8 other points or 5 other points, but we couldn't touch on them because of the time. So I recommend you get a course, the bundle, or you get a book, or if you buy the course, if you pay for the course, you can get everything else, including the book. Do you understand? So can we have the contact of your assistant in Nigeria? Oh, absolutely. 070-797-0441. And if this offer that we have made today is a 48-hour offer, please mind you, and it terminates this Monday. So you have tomorrow and you have Monday to, to plug in, either by the 3 months of the 3-month payment plan, or you pay outright by Monday. So either way works. Okay, so reach out to my assistant on 070-797-0441. 070-797-0441. The number is in the chat room. Now, Imola is asking the question. Thank you so much for this mind-blowing session. It's a pleasure, sir. My question is personal. I usually take from money I have set out for investments. This attitude keep me within a circle. What do you suggest I do as a way forward? Fantastic question. Number 1, you need an accountability partner. That's one. I know that one very well. Number 2 is, a lot of times people who have financial intelligence and have a financial plan often lack financial discipline. Now, financial discipline was the third thing I did talk about earlier as ingredient to creating wealth. And I must tell you sincerely, if you have financial intelligence, you know all the jargons, you know how to interpret statement, you know the difference between asset and liability, cash flow and profit, income and salary, you know everything. You know the difference between good debt and bad debt. You know how money works. You can articulate it very well. And you have a solid financial plan. If you lack financial discipline, you still not achieve it. And financial discipline is essentially doing what you need to do when you need to do it, even when you don't feel like doing it. So one of the things that has helped me personally, and that can help anybody, is an accountability partner. So I give an example of what an accountability partner can do for you. Now, I just mentioned to you about my YouTube channel, and it's good I mentioned this so that you can have a sense and understanding of exactly what an accountability partner will do. Now, one of my coaches, who is a YouTube coach, I attended one of his programs a while back, and in that program, after that program, I mean, we have even done quite a few other things together. But recently, that was 2 weeks ago, he sent me a message, sent a WhatsApp message to me. I believe he sent it to a few other people too. And in that message was that he told the story of what made him to be able to grow, because YouTube is also one platform by which you can generate and monetize income, particularly if you have content, you are a coach, you are something that the world needs. You have a story that the world needs to hear. You have an experience that people need to leverage, right? YouTube is a good platform where you can monetize, and so he shared quite a lot of things. Now, I'm not making money in that sense of the word, but I just know that no knowledge is lost. So I attended this program, but he shared a story recently and said he has over 100,000 followers on YouTube. And he said what made it so was that one particular year, he reached out to another friend of his and said to the guy, and said, see, he's making a commitment that every week he'll be posting at a particular time, on YouTube. He'll be posting content on YouTube every week without fail. And any week he fails to post, he will pay the friend 1,000 naira. And he said because he wasn't willing to pay 1,000 naira, he stayed true to his assignments. Are you following me? He stayed true to that assignment. And guess what? By so doing, he has built a lot of traffic. He has built a lot of value into his business. And he's monetized it, as in what this guy generates on a monthly basis is alarming, right? And that's his principal business, main business. That's what he does. He does training, he does coaching, and he does. Now, when he sent that to me, I said, well, there's no reason why I shouldn't be putting content out, because I've been on radio for like 3.5 years or thereabout before, and I was producing content. I didn't even pay attention to that until recently. One of our executive directors in our company shared a particular poster of when I used to be on radio with me, and I said, wow, that's incredible. 25th April 2016, I was on Star FM, I was on Inspiration FM, in Lagos, Nigeria, and when I saw it, I said, oh, wow. So I went back to those archives to go and check out all the contents and things I shared. I said, it still made a lot of sense. So this thing as if the voice was just voice. Now, over the last 3 years, in my community called the Tribe of Worthy Origin, I've been posting voice notes, inspirational content also. And I figured out, one of our friends who also recently joined the tribe said, no, you can brandish that particular content. I'm just telling you these things so that you can understand how that you can stay true to your whatever it is you want to achieve if you have accountability partner. Now, I've signed up for his accountability partnership, whatever. And the accountability is that, you must post. If you don't post, you pay us 1,000. If you don't pay 1,000, we will evict you from the accountability partnership, and you will never be able to engage with us again. Now, what a compelling way to force me to do what I need to do. Guess what? I have produced content. Guess who is even my editor right now? My daughter. Because I don't have any reason. I have another editor who is on payroll, but the guy is overwhelmed with a lot of assignments that he could not deliver last weekend, but I still couldn't present it as an excuse for not delivering. Guess who I used? My daughter. My daughter is the one that edited the video that I posted last week. She's the one that edited the video that will drop by 9 p.m. today, Nigerian time. I'm telling you. So if you go and check it, it's my daughter that edited that video. Now, if I didn't tell you, you would not know. But I'm saying this to let you know that because of accountability, I am compelled to deliver. So if you make me accountability partner, we agree that every month you must do this. If you don't do it, you pay this. You will be forced to do it. So that's the value of accountability partner. So there has to be a reward. or there has to be a punishment. So if you cannot design the reward or punishment for yourself, then by having an accountability partner, that will inflict the punishment. It can be by you paying them, and all of those things. So, and it's one thing I've decided I'm going to do now. Anybody who works with me, I'm going to make sure that you follow. If you don't follow it, we'll evict you from the accountability partnership. So the same way my friend is doing it to me on YouTube, I'm going to do it with my coaching clients and all my mentees. All right. Okay, so Reno says, I see that sales is major in making money. How can I leverage? How can I leverage if I don't want to concentrate on the weakness? If you book a session, if you bought the course and then you book a session, I may be able to decipher exactly. I know what you are simply saying, that sales is a weakness. Sales is not a weakness. If you are listening to me right now, you are married, you are a salesperson. You are a salesperson. You are a salesperson. If you have a job where you work and you earn a salary, you are a salesperson. You sold yourself. That's why they employed you, right? It's just that you do not know how to now leverage the same skill, to upscale. Now, if you land a job, for example, you land it on the basis of your technical skill. What will help you to rise through the ranks in that organization is your ability to deal well with people. And it is the greatest skill ever. Now, there are all sorts of AI, artificial intelligence, robotics, a lot of softwares, a lot of solutions that are coming up that are now available, that are still going to come in the future, are going to be replacing the need for humans in certain spheres. But there will never come a point where anything will replace the need for emotional connection with people. And this is very, very important. And that's why sales is a very powerful skill. It's still one of the top scarce skills that will help fetch you income both now and in the future. Those who connect buyer to seller. But if you order for the course, you take advantage of the bundle offer, book a session with my assistant, and I'll be very delighted to have a one-on-one engagement with you. And so that I can understand your particular situation and make one or two recommendations and probably provide you additional support. Okay. But I can tell you categorically that you cannot see any wealthy person you know as being a salesperson one way or another. They may not have that role, but they've been selling. So how can you sustain your wealth and pass it over to your generation and your next generation? At least let us attain the wealth first. But for you, but fundamentally is that there are different mechanisms and structures that have been created all over the world. You can set up a trust, all right? By setting up a trust, you are transferring that property or those assets, whatever it is that you have built over the years, you are transferring its management and continuity to a trusted or a trustee company. Now, and you leave instructions. Instructions could be, I want this property not to be sold. I want these properties, this asset, this businesses not to be sold. I want it to be retained. And I want the proceeds to go to the trustee companies. And the trustee company should only disburse these funds to my second generation, not my first generation. You can decide that. You can decide that, well, only a fraction will be going to your first generation, but a significant portion can be going to your second generation and third generation and all of that. You can decide that one by establishing. So there are living trusts that you can set up, right? So if you can get in touch with one or two trustee companies, I don't know where you're joining from, there's a lot that can be available. Another thing you can do is by writing a will. And by writing a will, you can also spell it there, how you want the resources to be disbursed. You may decide that, sorry, this will is saying that none of my properties will be sold, but proceed is what should be shared in this proportion. That way, you have also preserved your wealth. You have stated it in that will that this is the way the resources, your resources, or your asset or wealth should be preserved. And you have said that only income, only proceed from this asset is what should be shared amongst your children, amongst all your whoever you want to bless. That's where you document it. Okay. So will, trust, and then number 3 is, of course, you need insurance on your assets. It's also one way to preserve it from loss of from loss of capital or eventualities. Okay? At what point can your business start paying you salary? Oh, it's very simple. At the beginning of the business, your business may not be able to pay you, depending on how your business starts, and depending on a number of other factors. Now, if you are the type of individual who raised capital, maybe from the stock market, or maybe venture capitalists gave money, equity funding or whatever, you may be able to afford to pay yourself salary and afford to pay other people's salaries. But for those of us who bootstrapped our business, who started without capital, and literally, so it is what we produce that will pay us. In other words, we pay ourselves commission the same way we pay other people commission when they bring and refer business to us. And so that's very, very, very important. So once your business gets to the point where you believe it's now paying other people, I mean, we have people that were paying salaries in our organization, and we have been paying salaries for years now, but I just can't imagine myself earning, that fixed salary. It has to still be dependent on what I produce in the business. So until it gets to a point, so it's your personal choice. Once you realize that your business has gotten to that level where at this point the business will be paying you salary, then we chose not to collect salary in that manner because we felt that, okay, the growth of the business, if we tie to salary, if we start collecting salary, number one, the business will not pay us at the level we should be paid, right? And if the business decides to pay us at that level, we are going to be running it aground. So we decided that no, we want to ensure that, well, our own business pays us based on our contribution to the business. And that's what has helped us, even in the midst of whatever challenge or crisis or whatever it is, this is how we have been able to weather the storm again and again. So at what point will depend on a number of other factors. But generally, you cannot. So if you are actively running the business, right, then you certainly have to, when I say actively running the business, meaning that you are doing operations, which is not really the role you are supposed to be playing. If you are truly running the business, you're supposed to be working on the business, not in the business. If you work in the business, you have just created another job for yourself, right? But if you work on the business, it means you have created a system. You are building a system that can run with or without, that's not revolving around you, And again, of course, it doesn't mean you still cannot get paid salaries. We fix salary for ourselves, but they've not been able to pay us, all right? So the day we decide to collect it, we'll collect, but now not be the time to collect. So you can decide that. You can also decide that, well, you fix yourself a salary, but you will focus on driving and growing the business, and then you collect back your salary back in arrears when the business, gets to a particular level. You can set a figure, you can set a target for yourself and for the business. You get my point, which is what we have done actually. Okay. So, but for now, we are commissioners. We sell. I'm not the only shareholder in our company. So all the shareholders, that's the way we make money. So we make money when we produce for the business. Okay, so that's one way by which you can consider. And it's also because of the way we started. So if we raise equity funding, of course, for fixed big salary for ourselves, as a day for banks. Good evening, OC, sir. Thank you for always injecting hope and clarity upon every contact. It's a pleasure, sir or ma. About a year ago, I had the privilege of private 1-hour conversation with you about bouncing back from financial crisis and doing more of the real estate business. Doing more of the real estate business was one major takeaway. But sir, it's been over a year of taking actions and over 2 years since the crisis hit. And to be honest, there's no progress made in terms of making money results. You said something about being able to make whatever you lose. I'm looking for the statement again. Because you built capacity and that made me conclude that maybe I was just lucky with the sales made in real estate before the crisis with 2021, over $1 million. Okay. I don't know who this person is. I'm seeing Jots. So I don't know who the person is. Okay, so I think there's still more. Okay, maybe that's me second guessing myself. But after losing everything to the crisis, I lived the most of past year of the remnant of savings since nothing was coming in, despite forming a realtors group 2 months ago, I had to take up a 9-to-5 job as a BDM, but I do not feel fulfilled. And interestingly, sales is a challenge where I am now. And I am afraid that I may not be able to meet up to the expectation. And this really weighs me down. And to be honest, I was considering resigning by month's end. But that would mean going against number 4 of the financial tests we just took. I am downcast and deeply bothered, sir. What would you advise I do at this stage? So I need to settle something here. What makes a ship to sink is not the storm around it, but the moment the storm around it enters the ship is when the ship sinks. It's the same thing for each and every one of us. I can tell you for free that challenges, storms, adversity is part of life and to bring you under intense pressure. But as long as you don't allow it inside of you, right? As long you don't allow it inside of you, you will not sink. Now, what you are allowing to happen to you right now is exactly why I told you about your personal transformation, what you think, what you speak, your personal conversation, and then your interactions, your association and information. Those two things are the exact same thing. So now I know who is talking, all right? I know who is talking now. So we can still have a session later on. But essentially for the benefit of those who are here, I can tell you for free, there are things that you cannot second guess, you must do them consistently. Lead generation of those who will buy from you, you must have something that you are doing consistently. Now, it is not the first sledgehammer that breaks the wall. Me that you are seeing here, I've been hosting Financial Freedom Challenge now every month, except the month of January this year. If you have an idea of my schedule, you will know that, well, this is not luxury at all. This is not luxury at all. And this must be a commitment to an assignment. If you have an idea, there are days where I don't sleep more than 3 hours. All right. Today, if I tell you the kind of schedule I've run today alone, it's unbelievable. Now, if I also tell you some of the challenges I'm also dealing with, you will also not believe. A majority of the people you know around the world who are doing great things are going through hell. It's just that we don't get to know about the hell they were going through until they succeed. So don't allow what is happening around you to get into you, right? Don't allow it to get into you. Now, on whether you should resign from your job or nothing, the truth is that if you were hired to come and make sales and you're not making sales, certainly there are 3 realities. It's resignation, retrenchment, or retirement. Those are the 3 realities when that's what happens to people. So my recommendation, therefore, is there's a need for rebooting, we need to reprogramming. There's a need for reprogramming. And I understand what you're going through, what you're dealing with. So when you have not see, life has a way of checking your conviction, ascertaining your convictions, right? I mean, and I've been through that phase in my life at different points in time. And if I check into my history, I can see that like every 6 to 7 years of my life, I go through that phase where I'm tempted to want to quit. I want to give up, right? And one of the things that has helped me through those processes are my association and my information. So some of the things that I've also shared with people, I've had to share it with myself also. When you allow the things around you to weigh you down, it means you are sinking. You are drowning under the weight. And that's pretty much one of your biggest issue right now. Not really what is happening. There's no way, you can't produce anywhere else you go. That's the truth. I'm not speaking negative. I'm just saying that we need to correct your programming. We need to revamp the programming. Anything that produced for you at a particular point in time, there was a principle you adopted that produced that result. Your responsibility is to see how can you systemize it. All right. Now, patterns are predictors of future. If you can check what it is that produced that particular $1 million, you can repeat it again. Put structures in place that will help you repeat it. You see, systems are not emotional. The idea of systems is to help you repeat results predictably and consistently. So if, as a realtor, you set up a realtor group, for example, and the goal, maybe your problem is with market. You are targeting the wrong market. Maybe your issue is that you are targeting the wrong, you are not selling the right product, or maybe you are wrongly positioned, right? Or maybe you are not in the right association, right? There could be several other factors. But if you are not settled mentally, emotionally, there's no way you can make right decisions. All right. So let's talk. Let's talk on. Okay, just chat me up. I'll give you dates. All right. So thank you very much. Let me see if there's any other question. That was the longest question I've ever taken on Financial Freedom Challenge. But I hope that was helpful. What I sense that the thing, and you didn't get back to me. You didn't get back to me now. So you didn't get back to me. You should have gotten back to me. If I gave you an advice 1 year ago and you didn't, the thing is not producing, you should have come and find out what am I doing now that is producing for me. All right. So get back to me, okay? So finally, this is the offer and it will be going up in 48 hours. If you're interested, reach out to number 0708-797-0441. I want to thank you all for your time. It's been a great time sharing this platform with you all. God bless you, and we'll see in another one. Don't forget to follow me on all my social media handle. Follow me on my YouTube channel. Help me to grow the channel. Share it with other people too. God bless you, and see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you, sir.